So that discussion talked about defining home, and now I link it to defining homelessness. So it's difficult to come up with a specific definition of homelessness in general, because most studies assume that a house must be a physical building, as I mentioned before. For many people, homelessness is a fluid experience in which their living conditions change dramatically and on a frequent basis. The Canadian definition of homelessness suggests that homelessness describes the situation of an individual, a family or community without stable, safe, permanent, appropriate housing, or the immediate prospect, means, or ability of acquiring it. Homelessness is a result of systemic or societal barriers, a lack of affordable and appropriate housing, the individual household's financial, mental, cognitive, behavioral, or physical challenges, and or racism and discrimination. Continuing with this quote, most people do not choose to be homeless, and the experience is generally negative, unpleasant, unhealthy, unsafe, stressful, and distressing. So then I shift into a little bit more of an Indigenous definition of homelessness. And homelessness, as defined by Thistle, is a spectrum of housing and shelter situations, with individuals without shelter at one end and insecurely housed at the other. So when we talk about homelessness, it's important to recognize that there's no one set experience of homelessness, and there's a wider range of experiences, especially when it comes to looking at Indigenous experiences of homelessness. In a Canadian context, Thistle also outlines 4 forms of settler homelessness. The first is unsheltered, in which people live in areas that are acceptable but not designated for human life. The term emergency sheltered refers to those who live in overnight shelters for the homeless of victims of abuse. Individuals with temporary accommodation or accommodation that lacks tenancy or security are referred to as those who are provisionally accommodated. And then finally, people who are not homeless but are in a problematic housing or economic position are considered at danger of homelessness. So we see that in individuals, families, or communities of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who lack secure, permanent, adequate housing, or the imminent potential, means, or capacity to get such housing, as defined by the Aboriginal Standing Committee on Housing and Homelessness. As a result, Indigenous homelessness is not defined by a lack of permanent dwelling, as the traditional imperialist definition suggests. Instead, as an Indigenous worldview lens is used to better explain and understand Indigenous homelessness. Individuals, families, and communities who are separated from land, water, location, family, kin, social networks, their language, their culture, can be recognized as homelessness. On a cultural, spiritual, emotional, or physical level, Indigenous people facing various forms of homelessness are unable to reconnect with their indigeneity and lost relationships.